again. Is it him again? Yeah, it's me again. How you guys doing? Lord, thank you, Jesus, for allowing me to speak another day and to enjoy the fresh air you provided today and everything, Lord. Continue to lead and guide us and help us with all our problems. Be careful to give you all the praise and glory. Amen. Well, we're back. First of all, if you guys notice, um, I have a photograph in front of me here. I hope you guys can see it. This photograph is of my dear departed mom's. Rest her soul. She transitioned years ago, but oftentimes I still get these feelings about how good my mom's was. Not only did she birth myself and three other siblings in the world, but she was one of these women that was stern, forthright, very gorgeous, intelligent, marvelous, a provider. I could go on and on about my mom's. She was so phenomenal. Okay, words can't even describe, what she did in her life and with the little she had to do with. So, if you guys out there have a mother still living, or a father, or just your parents, if they're still living, please, please. I know sometimes they could be dead wrong, dead wrong, and get on your nerves, but please show them respect and show them honor because they are your parents. So I'm not going to go into lecturing you about that, but, I'm one of these folks that just didn't have my moms too long. So I don't know if you guys recall, but if you check some more of my podcasts or videos or reels or lives, you'll see that I had made an appeal or Facebook to the general public, especially my immediate family and my extended families. If they have any photographs, like I just showed you these photographs of my mom's, I would greatly appreciate them. You could text them to me, email them to me, whatever. Friends, associates, if you have any, please, please, I would like to treasure those photographs. I lost my mom when I was 9.5, I believe. Let me just tell you a little quick thing about my mom's. The points that I remember that sticks with me, besides her beauty, because she was a very beautiful woman. My brother and I was not spoiled, but we was well off. My two sisters, God rest their souls, they had to, their chores was to make sure they do the laundry for us. They couldn't go to the movies. Like, we had movies on Saturdays. She gave us movie night. And at that time, I grew up in the 60s, early 60s. It was like, we had, I think, 6 or 7 movie theaters. But the theater that was the cheapest, I think, was 50 cents for 3 shows. And that was the Majestics. But then we had, or the Plaza. I think it was one of the two. But we had the Majestics, the Plaza, the Fabian, the Regency, the US, the Patterson Theater, and we had another theater as well. We had a bunch of theaters. So Saturday night was movie night. Friday night was allowance night. That's when we got snacks and we got a little money. My mom's worked 2 jobs, plus was a mother in the house. My mom's and my pops, they separated. I was very sad, but life goes on. So she still maintained her household. I recall us being the first from Graham, if you're from Patterson, if you don't know, Graham Ave and East 18th Street, just beyond the railroad tracks, we lived at 175 12th Avenue. And I recall my mom's was the first person on that block, and I know this for a fact, that had a floor model color television set. It was called Zenith. Boy, we thought we was rich, you know. And also we had a wall phone, rotary, and a desk phone. So we also, besides that, she worked vigorously, man. She worked real hard to supply our needs, to provide food. We used to call it an ice box, not a refrigerator or fridge. We call it ice box. It was always full. The cupboards was always full. The cabinets, y'all called with cupboards back then. I recall that tile was not big, and especially black folks' house. The tile was not that big. We had a tile kitchen floor, and we did have carpeting. So we was kind of fine there, all because of my mom's. My pops, he was drinking, but he would pop in every now and then, but he really wasn't, like, at that time. He stepped in later on, but at that time, he really didn't, was too smooth about coming over, you know, every other day or on the regular. So Friday was the lounge, Saturday was movies, and basically, you had no say-so about church on Sunday. My moms would dress us in fine stuff, man. Yeah, I mean, beautiful clothes, heavy wool coats. I mean, I have a couple of pictures with that stuff on. And the church we went to was called Second Baptist Church, but at that time it was not on Carroll and 12th. It was on Harrison and Graham Avenue and Harrison Street. Still 4th Ward District, but the Reverend was Reverend Robert Dose. And if you know, I spoke about this Reverend also a few times. Excuse me. I worked out a little early. I gotta have my water. Sorry about that. Now, when we came back home from church, guess what? We had to take those church clothes off. Just like school. School too. Come home from school, take your school clothes off. So I remember my mom's had so much clout in the neighborhood, right, that people used to come to our house for counseling and for advice from my mother, Mary Lee Tindal Benjamin. And not only did they come to her for counseling, but they also had informed her, or kept her informed, if we was misbehaving in the street, or you know, they found us to be doing something negative or positive, sometimes positive, but if they seen us doing something negative, right, we would have to answer for that. If they came back, in which they did, they reported a lot of things to my moms, and I guess my moms did that same favor for their kids. That's how the neighborhood was on 12th Ave back then. Also, my mom's was a very, very, how could I say, protector of her younger sisters. I was young, but I recall one time she actually choked. Maybe that's where I get it from. She actually choked with two hands one of her brother-in-laws. I don't want to call the name because for, you know, I don't want to embarrass anybody or put their business out there, but he had that coming, because a lot of times I've seen my auntie and she didn't look too, you know, pretty. Like, her face was a little messed up. So I guess a lot of things was going on, but as a child, you was being to be seen and not to be heard. But my mom's, I remember her jacking this guy up, man. And he wasn't the only one. I think she got a couple of them. So, because being an older sister, I guess, is like a responsibility, you know, when your mother gets a little too old to, you know, do the things that she used to do. I remember my grandmother, boy, go get me a switch. I go get a switch, right? She said, no, go back and get me a switch. Because I bring this little twig back. She want me to go get a big tree, man. But my grandmother was a fireball too, battle axe. But back to my mom. She never really like beat me. She might have spanked me a couple of times. I don't even remember the spankings, but oh yeah, I do. I remember 2 spankings. One was back then they had glass bottles. They didn't have plastic bottles. We lived on the 2nd floor. Well, we had a 2nd floor, and I don't know. We might have owned the house, or there was a lady downstairs named Miss Coburn, and so I used to come to the top of the stairs, you know, and just throw my bottle down the stairs. Yo, I used to break these bottles up. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I was mysterious. I was a baby, a kid, but I remember getting a spanking for that one time. And you know, that's the times I'm talking about, way back when you had no Pampers. You had diapers that they had to wash out for you and hang up. But the time I do remember a real whooping for my mother, and that's the only one I can remember, because I was sort of spoiled. I got my way a lot because I was the youngest, AKA the baby. So, but myself and this brother, I hope he's still around, but if he's not, God rest his soul. His name was, I can give you his name. His name was Ronnie Hill. Me and Ronnie, right? We call ourselves playing hooky, right? Now, what we did was, on 12th Avenue, if you know anything about it, before you get to East 18th, there's a railroad track right there. We was playing on the railroad track. We played from school, so what we was actually doing was jumping trains, because at that time, that Sealand train was a long train, take you like 20 minutes where to go by. But then they had little freight trains that'll take us from 12th Ave to way over by Market Street, and we would jump that track and jump another train coming back. So we was doing that all day, just having free rides, you know, like sometimes we would go to, not playing hooky, but sometimes we would, for fun, jump on back of buses, like 64 Bunker Hill was called, on Governor Street, and just ride down that hill just to get that joyride. But these trains was a little more, well, I can't say more dangerous, because that all was dangerous when we was kids. So when we got back to, it wasn't even 12th Ave, it was Hamilton Street, and between Hamilton and Godwin Ave, but on East 18th Street, one parallel length up, that's where the tracks was. We called ourselves jumping off early to go into the store. Whoop, whoop. That was Mr. Green. He was a truant officer. Big man, fat guy, you know, always eating peanuts. I love you, rest in peace, Mr. Green. He later on became a detective. But Mr. Green snatched us up, man. He caught both of us. I mean, you know. So, took us home. My mom was just getting ready to go to her second job, right? I come in there, all jacked up. She said, she started to go off on Mr. Green. Mr. Green said he played hooky from school. My mom's voice was that of a bird chirping. She had this sweet, soft, pleasant to the ear voice. Like, you know, it's like waves. Like when Mr. Green told her, when Mr. Green told her that, my eyes got big, because the way she spoke to me was like a raspy, like, I didn't know that was my mother. Raspy, like, I'm gonna kill you voice, like, type, you know. So, you know, that put fear in me right there. So I just started crying. Mr. Green left. I was trying to run for that door. She grabbed me and spanked me so rough, man, that I said, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. So that was a valuable lesson that my mom's taught me with that spanking. Did I ever play hooky again? No. Did I see Ronnie Hill again? Yes. It was snowing. I put glass in that snowball. Bing! Pop him in the back of the head like he forced me to play hooky. He didn't really force me to play hooky, but I just had to take my little frustrations out on somebody. So we fought. You know, but so I just wanted to say that to you guys, that she was my mom's. Rest in peace, rest your soul, Mom. I love you. And oftentimes I just think about her, without a man being present in the house, like some of you women and girls out there now today, know that God is watching and he will provide things for you. He will provide things for you. And, he would also send people to you because he works with people. A lot of people is looking for these magical mysteries and things dropping out the sky. That doesn't happen. So, big kudos and shout out to Mary Lee Tindal Benjamin, my mom's. So she was my rock. She's the topic of my kudos. That other standing on your shoulders. My mom's, I have to put her right there. And I wish that I had more time with her and really, really, really got to know her, because I think about a month and a half ago, I went to her hometown, which is Bishopville, South Carolina, and the folks was telling me about my mom's, who she was, and their perspective and their feelings and their personality and their communication with her and their upbringing with her. And I was just overwhelmed at the stories, but no one had a photograph or a picture, but that's okay. So if you guys know anyone that knew my mom's, Mary Lee Tindal Benjamin, and have photographs, please let me know. John Benjamin, Let's Chop It Up, hosted by daughter Samia. Get me that way. You can get me on Facebook, John Benjamin. You could get my email, Noonie59. 5 is spelled F-I-V-E, 9 is the number, at gmail.com. And let me just tell you this. The reason I don't have photographs is because it's not that she didn't take photographs, or she didn't, like I said, she dressed as well. I recall a photograph where my siblings and I, my sister being the oldest, Georgia Benjamin, Johnny Benjamin second, Tony Benjamin third. I remember us sitting on this couch, right? One behind another, and we was very young, very small. And that picture, and I remember more photographs and pictures being given to my older sister when my mom's transitioned, and my father stepped in for a little while, but he really had no pictures. And what happened was, with those pictures, I don't know about all the other pictures, but with those pictures, what happened was, my sister lived on what we call Hamilton Street, not Hamilton Ave. Hamilton Street was downtown where you have a few banks now on Market, on the corner of Market and whatever, and it's Hamilton Street, still should be Hamilton Street. They had apartments there. So her house, the house she stayed in, caught a fire. So lost everything, all the photographs, everything. So that's what happened to the original pictures. So, but anyway, kudos to Mary Lee Benjamin, my mom's. I love you. And I'm trying to carry out some of the values that you instilled in me, and I thank you dearly. So, again, if you guys have parents above ground, or if they're where my mom's at in heaven, getting their crowns, let's remember those people. Don't forget them and give them their kudos and their props. So, Noonie Noon, once again, signing out. Love you guys. Peace. Hey, and hug somebody.